Anyhow, Hans in Portland. Hey, Hans, what's up? Or Hans.
Yeah, thanks for the time. Now, regarding President Obama's address to the nation, you said yesterday to folks who remain cynical, folks like me, to get a life. But you seem awfully easy to please, Thom Hartmann, because Obama's exercised his authority as commander-in-chief to start another war, but won't end the two wars begun by his predecessor.
Hans, first of all, I have, and you know this, I mean, if we're going to have an honest conversation here with each other, you know that I have a lot of concerns and complaints, a lot of things I disagree with President Obama about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera.
None of them rise to the level of you withdrawing your support for him.
May I finish my sentence?
Certainly.
And his continuing the wars in Afghanistan and Iraq is right at the top of the list. I think it's insane, and he should have stopped them immediately. I mean, they're draining us dry, plus they're making us enemies all over the world. My point was that I thought that the speech, because he was the first guy in 30 years to call out Ronald Reagan for what he did, was brilliant. Now, I also said I don't think that we're going to see anything as great as that speech come out of the budget process. It's going to be sausage, the sausage factory. It's going to be just like a lot of the campaign. But my comment was specifically to the folks in the chat room. There were a couple of people in the chat room who were going off about, oh, you're just always apologizing for Obama. Quack, quack, quack. No, I'm not. The guy gave a great speech. He made a good point, and it was worth recognition. And if that's not good enough for you, then, get a life is probably a bad way to put it. I'll give you that. But
okay, because I wasn't in the chat room. That went out on the air, went out to me, and that's how I took it.
Yeah, well, I didn't.
I just don't know if there's anything Obama could do where you wouldn't be saying we've got to reelect him. In fact, we can't even have a primary challenge because that'll usher in a Republican and the Supreme Court.
You're right.
Then really,
actually, you're not right. I mean, if he came out in support of Paul Ryan, I would not support him. I would support a primary challenger.
It's a low bar now.
Yeah, no, it is a fairly low bar, Hans, because I've been watching politics for 50 years, or not 50 years, but I'm in my 50s, but I've been watching politics for a lot of years. And I see how it works. And when you have primary challengers, it does weaken incumbents, and it's not a good thing. And I am concerned about the Supreme Court. And I do think that having a Democratic president is an important thing. Even if he's not the most progressive guy on earth, it's much better than a Republican. Coming up on TV tonight at 9 o'clock, Conversations with the Great Minds, Michio Kaku. You may find this hard to believe, but I'm going to make string theory the most interesting and important topic of the day. Don't forget, democracy begins with you. Tag, you're it. We'll see you on Monday.
You've been listening to Thom Hartmann. For audio and video archive,